Dragons have always caught the imagination of humanity. No matter where you go across the globe, legends of these large reptiles permeate across all cultures. Where do these legends come from? How do they become so widespread across all of humanity's cultures? What if I told you these questions shouldn't really be that much of a mystery? Because we're literally walking amongst dragons right now in our natural world. All across the globe, there are actual real-life dragons. And what if I told you there used to be actual dragons with wings that flew exactly as you've seen in countless movies? Don't believe me? Well, join me as we count down the top 5 real-life dragons, and I show you that dragons were, and are, real after all.
Hello everybody, my name is Eddie and I'm a zoology student who is obsessed with animals. If you like content about wildlife and animals and conservation, then this is the spot for you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. We have a goal of reaching 100 subscribers, and every little bit of support helps us get to that goal. I'm sorry I've been away for a little while. I just got married. I just been doing a lot of life events, but I'm back and I got this nice video for y'all. So first, out of all the real-life dragons that we're going to discuss today, we have the Xenodermis, also known as the dragon snake. And just by looking at a picture of this thing, you can tell why it's called the dragon snake. This thing looks absolutely incredible. It looks like toothless. It has like those ridges, those scales on it. And they are a really cool species of snake. They are very hard to keep as pets. I learned this from Clint's Reptiles, of course. They are very hard for their diet. Their diet's very particular and it's very expensive to maintain. And also the amount of just humidity and heat also is very expensive to maintain. So they are a very difficult species to keep as pets, but they're very cool animals. And one example of a real life dragon, I mean, really, how much different would a dragon be than this if you really think about it? They're found in Southeast Asia and the Malay Peninsula, and their diet mainly consists of small fish, frogs, and animals like that. Hence, with a diet like that, you can imagine why they make terrible pets. But a dragon that does not make a terrible pet is our next dragon, a bearded dragon, which, if you look at these pictures, I used to have one. Unfortunately, he passed away. But bearded dragons are a really cool species native to Australia. And really, I mean, look at this thing. This is basically a dragon. I mean, you look at it, how much different is this from toothless or any non-winged dragon, I guess? You know what I mean? But winged dragons did exist, and we'll get to that in a second. Bearded dragons, or beardies, are a group of species, again, all native from Australia, and they live in all different types of environments and ranges depending on the species, and they feed on insects, on small animals, and they are really fun and they're really compassionate. I used to have one. His name was Toothless, go figure, and he was very much an affectionate animal, and I miss him every day. But you know, these type of guys, they want to be your friends, they want to be next to you, they want to, you know, be with you. And honestly, if that doesn't scream how to train your dragon, then I don't know what does. So again, another example that dragons are real, dragons are here, and they exist in the everyday world. Our next real-life dragon is probably the most obvious one everybody points to when you say dragons are real, and it's the Komodo dragon, of course. They live on the island of Komodo. They live in Indonesia. They feed on a wider range of creatures, from like rabbits and small mammals to big buffaloes and everything. There is a little bit of misconception on if they're venomous or not. Some people say they low-key do have a venom, but other people just say it's the bacteria in their mouth that infects creatures and slowly kills them. Regardless, Komodo dragons are an example of island gigantism, where monitor lizards made their way onto an island and became huge due to the lack of competitors on the island. And I mean, come on, this is a dragon. It's huge, it's a lizard, and it is glorious. They're the apex predators of Komodo, and surprisingly, you can walk right up next to them and they don't care about you. If they're locked in on some prey or on a boar or something, they're not going to look at you. They're not going to even give you the time of day. So yeah, Komodo dragon is really cool, really metal animal. Definitely a contender for another real life dragon, and another example that yes, dragons do exist. Our next example of a real life dragon is the marine iguana. And when I saw this as a kid, I immediately jumped to Godzilla. Marine iguanas are so cool. They remind me of little Godzillas because they swim in the water and go from place to place looking for algae. They actually eat a very rare type of algae, which is why they still haven't been kept in zoos. And not just that, also the Galapagos Islands have very strict importing and exporting laws. But like I just said, they are found in the Galapagos Islands, and they are really cool. There's a range of species. There's some that are reddish, there's some that are not. There's also land iguanas in the Galapagos Islands. But the marine iguanas are cool, they're unique, and I think they are basically dragons. Really think about any fantasy novel or whatever, these would remind you of little baby dragons swimming in the water. They're really cool, they're really awesome creatures. I wish that you can actually find them in zoos and stuff. You can't, you have to book a trip to the Galapagos to see them. But they remind me so much of Godzilla. So yeah, another really cool real life dragon that you can see in the real world. So I know I've been mentioning a dragon that can fly and is basically a wyvern, and I will be getting to that dragon in a second, but there's also another real life dragon that is present now in the real life today called Draco lizards, right? And they're basically lizards that live in tropical areas, and they have elongated ribs, right, that they use to fly or glide from branch to branch in the jungle. They're found in Southeast Asia. There's a wide variety of them, and they're really cool. They're agamid lizards, and basically, like I said, they have these long ribs which have membranes in between them, come in a lot of different colors, and if that's not a dragon, then I don't know what is. These Draco lizards primarily eat ants and termites. So you can imagine going from one tree to the next tree up in the treetops really helps with finding more and more of their prey. Now, I know I've been hyping it up, I know I've been mentioning it, but I do have the real life wyvern that actually used to really exist. And it is called Yichi, and it is a species of dinosaur that lived in China that actually had wing membranes and was capable of flight. It was a real life wyvern, a real life dragon, and was amazing. It when you think of a dragon, this is what it is. Besides, you know, of course, the European six-legged dragon or the Chinese dragon that is a giant serpent, which we've kind of went over a couple of things that could resemble that. This is a wyvern. This is a real-life dragon. This is proof that dragons really existed. They were small little guys. They ate small little animals, small mammals, small lizards, small things, and yeah, it's a real-life dragon. They're from the late Jurassic, and they were a breakthrough find for scientists because they showed that dinosaurs had a phase where they had bat-like membrane wings and not just feathered wings like with the birds of today, you know? So this is a cool little branch in the dinosaur family tree that became dragons. And if that's not the coolest thing in the world, then I don't know what is.
Yichi was a remarkable creature that unfortunately has been lost to time. In fact, most of the dragons I've spoke about in this video are threatened or endangered in some way and depend on us to avoid making dragons a true fable and relic of the past. There is another animal though that is going through this similar downfall in a very quiet way and is flying under the radar of even the experts. And here's the thing, this animal is super popular all over the world. How is this happening? Click on the video on screen now to hear about this animal's iconic story and tragic downfall.